regards to this new economic partnership between Australia and Indonesia, how do you think it might impact the geopolitical considerations in the Indo-Pacific, and how China and India may perceive a growing economic dialogue between Indonesians and Australians?
Well, I think both China and India will see Australia's relationship and further developing a trade and investment relationship will just be seen as a natural thing to do. We're direct neighbours. Indonesia is closer to mainland Australia than a plane flight from Melbourne to Sydney. So no one's going to be surprised that Indonesia and Australia have a relationship. What Australia wants to do is to make sure that that is a first-class relationship, not just on a strategic sense, on a national security sense, but also on an economic, trade and investment sense. So no one's going to be surprised by that. India, I think, will welcome a heightening or a upping of the threshold of the relationship between Australia and Indonesia, because as India itself grows to being a great power, its sphere of influence will be the Indian Ocean. And as we've said of Indonesia, in the blink of an eye by 2050, we expect it to be a top 4 economy. We know at the moment we've got 2 great global powers, the United States and China. Well, just as the United States and China and our region, the west of the world, gets used to that change in the global space, India will also rise as a great power. So a country of 1.2 billion people, by the time we get to 2050, we'll be starting to adjust to how does the world now adjust to 3 great powers, United States, China and India. And India will become much more interested in the Indian Ocean itself and the Indian Ocean Rim and the Indian Ocean Arc. So the fact that India, Indonesia and Australia are all significant members of AIIA, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, is a good thing. In recent years, India, Australia and Indonesia have all been chairs of that association. So developing that regional architecture is a good thing. So I think India will warmly welcome the thriving of the Australia-Indonesia relationship, because it's Indian Ocean. It's the Indo part of the Indo-Pacific. China won't be surprised, but China is also active in seeking to engage Indonesia and the rest of ASEAN in an economic and a strategic relationship. So none of these things are surprises. I think the key thing, though, for Australia is that if we don't develop the sort of relationship that I've described with Indonesia, and the same applies to India, if we don't develop that relationship, then we'll be the losers. Not Indonesia, not China, not India. It'll be Australia who are the losers of economic prosperity as a consequence of not getting the relationship right from now over the next 25 to 30 years.